Hi, everybody. It's Pam Popper, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Video Clips. And I have just a couple of announcements. Remember, in just, I think it's 3 weeks, we start fall semester. So if you're thinking about doing career training with us, there are some classes that start in the fall, and you have to start then, like the Diet and Lifestyle Intervention course, which is a great way to start. It's a 15-lecture series that covers women's health and men's health and children's health and autoimmune diseases and gastrointestinal diseases and musculoskeletal problems, mental health, etc. People love it, and you can be a layperson and take it too. You don't have to be a health professional. So it is time to start having these discussions about careers. If you're interested in getting into healthcare and you have no training, we can help you. And if you are in healthcare and you're kind of sick of it the way it is, we can help you as well. So send me an email at pampopper@msn.com. And then don't forget, September 1st is the Research Bootcamp. And if you've taken the previous one that I did, I lose track of time because all days are work days these days. But anyway, if you already took that one, this will be a little bit different because we'll start with some foundational stuff, and the first like 45 minutes to an hour might be a little bit of duplication, but then we're going to spend the majority of the time actually doing research together. So you'll have your browser open. We're going to walk through and take a look at things and together and interpret studies and that sort of thing, show you how to use just the abstract to find out things you want to know, so you can figure things out on your own, or if you're doing research for others or you're involved in our programs, you'll be better at it. All right. And then don't forget our fall conference with Scott Atlas, Peter McCullough, Peter Bregan, and all the usual regular people who have appear at our conferences who are pretty amazing too. All right, so today's topic is stress. I am getting a lot of emails from people who are wondering how they should protect themselves from COVID. Because of the hype about COVID, people are stressed about getting COVID. And the ironic thing is that stress can disable immune function, making it more likely that you'll get something and it might be COVID. All right. So I'll come back around to what to do about the stress and give you some suggestions. But first, I want to give you some evidence that what I'm telling you is true. So I'll start with a research team in Australia led by an immunologist. His name is Scott Muller. They injected a stress hormone, norepinephrine, into the bloodstreams of mice, and the purpose was to see how immune cells responded. And it didn't take very long. Within just a few minutes, T cells stopped moving. Now, just to make sure that it was neurotransmitters associated with stress and not injecting anything, they repeated it with dopamine. It had no effect on T cells at all. So to further research the issue, researchers infected the mice with herpes simplex virus, or HSV. After 2 days, the mice were treated with a molecule called ISO that mimics the action of adrenaline, another stress hormone. This also stopped the action of T cells and also dendritic cells for over 2 hours. Then they used another substance called cimeterol, which acts on the same receptors. They did this twice a day for 3 days. And after that, there were fewer virus-specific T cells at the sites of infection. Additional experiments with mice injected with melanoma cells and malaria parasites confirmed the same thing. Stress hormones and substances that mimic them suppress immune function. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about the mechanisms of action because this has been studied in people too. These studies that I'm sharing with you are fairly recent, but we've known for a long time what happens when people are stressed. So what happens when you're stressed is messages from the brain are sent to the endocrine system, and then the adrenal glands release stress hormones like adrenaline and noradrenaline, the higher cortisol levels, the body gets ready for fight or flight. So if you are in trouble and you need to run from a predator, this is great, right? It gets you ready for that. The heart beats faster, your blood pressure rises to send more blood to the arms and legs so you can run really fast, and then extra glucose and fat are released for energy because you deplete your reserves pretty darn quick. So in a short-term situation where you're threatened, this is terrific, but it does not work well when lower level stress and anxiety become chronic. In other words, what I've just described to you should be a momentary thing, and then when the threat's over, you go back to normal. But what's happening now is people live with this low level stress. It's constant, and it chips away at your immune function and a lot of other health related markers as well. Stress also activates responses that repair damaged or infected tissues, such as inflammation. So what happens with inflammation, let's say you have an injury, your inflammation level goes up and white blood cells go to the area, they flood the area of injury, they release cytokines and they recruit macrophages to clean up the debris and mess and all the dead cells and that sort of thing. Well, it's really helpful for healing an injury. It is not helpful at all when you're stuck in the on position in a constant state of inflammation because you're in a constant state of stress. So probably some of you are getting stressed listening to this, thinking I'm stressed and that makes me at higher risk of COVID. And then this woman's telling me all this stuff and then that makes me more stressed. And how is this helping me? Well, here's what I'm getting to. Remaining constantly stressed about anything, including viruses, makes you more likely to get sick from viruses. So some things that I think you should think about, and it requires making a decision and then following through on it. Choose sources of info that don't result in so much stress. There's a lot of stuff I don't watch. I just don't want to see it. I don't want to exist in this heightened state of stress and fight or flight, the whole 9 yards. It makes me not able to do my job, and some of you are counting on me to do my job, right? Carefully choose the people you hang around with. Some have become toxic waste dumps for stress and panic. That's not helpful either. I don't like that. I don't want to be around it. Focus on things that you know work. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to make a strong argument against the idea of eating well, drinking enough water, exercising, getting out in the sun, those kinds of things. And then seek out fun things to do. Make sure there's some joy in your life every day. I mean, I had a really stressful day yesterday. I'm making this video on Saturday. But yesterday was Schroeder's 17th birthday, and we had a little birthday party for him, and he got a catnip-filled wine bottle and some other gifts, a new placemat for his dishes, and we had a great time. And that was just an oasis of 2 hours in the middle of all the rest of it, and I kind of felt like getting back at it after it was over, So you have to focus attention, deliberately focus attention on things that relieve instead of increase your stress, and it's up to you to do it. In other words, you have to take action. Nobody's going to take care of this for you, all right? So anyway, stress does make you more vulnerable to illness, but stress is changeable. It does require work, like just about everything in life. I wish I had ways of making your lives better without work, but you have to work at it. All right, that's all for today. As usual, pass this on to anybody who you think would enjoy watching it, and I will be back to you tomorrow with more news.